Hey there, Pascal here again, and in this video I'm talking about how to get better drone footage by faking dynamic range.
My name is Pascal Basel, and in 2015 I quitted my job to escape the rat race and travel the world. While doing that, I rediscovered my old passion for filmmaking and learned to fly drones. Now I make videos of the most beautiful places in the world. Be part of my adventures and learn how to make cinematic travel videos.
So I actually want to produce more of those kind of videos, like tutorial videos where I show you how I edit videos and so on. So every Thursday will come a new video of that format. Now, of course, you will also see the Sunday videos where I produce some travel videos. I also take you out together with me and show you on the camera how I do some stuff and give you tips. So if you're interested in that, then definitely hit the subscribe button now and let's get started. So what is dynamic range and why do you want to fake it? So the problem with drones usually is that we have pretty small sensors, and that means that we get less dynamic range with drones compared to like full frame cameras or micro four thirds or so on. And dynamic range means basically the amount of steps that the camera is able to capture in the footage. So for example, if you expose for the shadows, that means that you get all the details in the shadows, but the highlights will clip. So the highlights, the skies and so on will be completely white, and that's kind of a problem because in some shots, especially with drone shots, you want to have details in both the shadows, like in the trees and in some buildings and so on, but also you want to have some nice details in the skies, so obviously in the highlights, because usually, especially when you have some clouds in it and so on, then it gets a very nice impression of the image because it gives it more depth with all the clouds and so on. It looks cool. Yeah, but with a small sensor it's hard to capture that. You can either expose for the shadows or you can expose for the highlights. And that's what we want to do here now. We actually will take two shots with a drone. In one shot, we will expose for the highlights, so for the sky, that we get all the details in the sky, but we completely lose all the details in the shadows. And we will also do another shot, and in this shot we expose for the shadows so that we get all the details in the trees and so on. And later we will combine both shots, so we're basically doing a sky replacement there. And then we basically fake dynamic range, because in the final shot it looks like we were actually shooting it with another camera with more dynamic range. So let me show how to do that. I will first show you a clip that shows a normal take on how I would shoot that and why it's not good to like just do one shot and lose dynamic range. And then I will show you the other two clips, how I expose them, and later I will show you how I edit everything together so that we fake dynamic range and get a nicer drone shot. So let's go on the computer now and I will show you.
Okay, so this is the basic clip. I will make it a bit bigger for you to make it easier to see everything. So that's the first clip that I shot with my drone. As you can see, all the details here in the shadows are completely blown out. I mean, I graded it already, but even when we get rid of the grade, you can still see here that all the details here in the shadows are lost. I mean, when the drone flies out of that forest here, it looks a bit nicer. We have some more details here, that's good. But like the main part that I really like to show here with the details in the shadows is this part, and the details are lost here. Like even grading with film convert, and even when I turn that on and I already pulled the shadows up, as you can see, and even when I pull them up more, the details are just lost here. It doesn't look good at all. So let's bring it back. And so what we can do here to fake dynamic range, to get more of that, is to make two shots. So the first shot that I will show you now is one shot where I exposed for the highlights, so for the sky. And as you can see here in that shot, also make it bigger, is that the shadows here are also completely blown out, but I exposed so good that all the details here in the sky are there. And then I also made a second shot. So the first shot I actually made just freely, and I raised the camera of the Mavic Air a little bit so that I get more to see of the sky, because we don't want to show all that landscape here later. We only want to have the sky for that clip. And then I did another clip where I definitely overexposed like crazy. As you can see here, the sky is completely blown out, and that's for purpose. I want to blow out the sky completely. I want to clip the highlights here because that actually makes it easier later for me to insert a luma key, because the luma key will address the highlights then and basically mask the highlights, and then we can use the other clip to replace the sky. So actually overexposing here is pretty good because the sky can be replaced easier, and also we get more details in the shadows. So as you can see here, when I'm flying backwards, you can see that we got so much highlights here in the shots, so much details in the shadows here still in the shot. So if you compare it to the other shot, you see here in the trees there's no green anymore and so on, it's all gone. Looks a lot better here, right? So what I will do now, let's first make an empty timeline. And so we drag this clip, the clip where I exposed for the highlights, to the bottom at first. And I will show you later why that is like that. We'll actually use that clip 2 times. And then I will drag that clip here where I exposed for the sky. And what I will do with that clip now is that I will create a snapshot of that, because I tested it before and like the clip is a bit shaking and so on. So it's better if I use a steady image here instead of a video. So as you can see here now, Final Cut added a snapshot, and I delete the video itself. And then I stretch it to the length of the video. So this is the middle part, and now I will add this clip here again. I mean, would actually be smarter to copy that because I already edited the clip. Okay, that looks better. Yeah, can actually, I would say from the movement, can cut it like here. Okay, there we have cut it. And the reason why I have this clip at the bottom here, like the clip where I exposed for the shadows, then the clip where I exposed for the highlights in the middle, and then the first clip again on top, is simply that with a luma key sometimes we get some problems here that also mask out some bright areas in this space here where actually the shadows are, and it's sometimes hard to recover that. So it's good to have the same clip under it again with the same grading later and so on, because then when the top clip is masked, it will shine through and you can actually see the real details again, like we have in the trees. You will see later how it works. It's a bit hard to explain when you don't see that. So the first thing that I want to do, I want to shut those clips off. And I want to create a mask here, and we will use this mask. I don't know how it's called in English actually, but let's apply that to the clip. And so what I want to do here is to just make sure that we only affect with the luma key later the parts of the image that actually matter, so the sky. So that looks pretty good, because now when I activate that, and you can see here are some highlights in the shadows in those areas. So later when we apply the luma key, and probably those areas here, those small points will get clipped, and then because we have it masked here, then this clip under it will shine, and that means that those areas won't be lost or black or something. It will still look good. Of course, I also see here now that I could set the mask a bit higher. Okay, so now we have our 3 clips and the middle clip is masked. So what I want to do now is to deactivate the top clips, and I want to do my base color grading. I use Film Convert for that. Of course, you can do it like you want. And it's actually shot on the Mavic Air, but I use the Mavic Pro profile, the Cinelike, because I figured out that this profile fits a lot better to my other footage. Don't know why that is, but the Mavic Air profile and Film Convert is really not that good. So, and I want to scroll a bit down here to see what I'm affecting here, because of course I want to get all the details here in the shadows. So I will brighten up the shadows a little bit. It's usually the process how I work, like I will bring my midtones down instead of the shadows, because that gives it a nice color. Color looks better then. And I can also preserve all the detail in the shadows. As you can see here, I don't clip any details in the shadows, so it's all there. Awesome, that looks good. And of course I want to get rid of the grain. No one likes grain, don't know why they use it. And then what I also want to do is I want to use curves. So insert some curves, the native curves from Final Cut. And now the curves are for the highlights, because the problem here is, as you can see, the clouds here are a bit darker, so they have nearly the same darkness as some of the other parts here. Unfortunately, it's only nearly, it's not the exact same light values, so we can affect it. And so at first I want to blow out the highlights here completely. So that looks better, because that makes it a lot easier to mask that part out later with a luma key. So let's try that too. Important thing here is that I don't want to affect those areas in the image. So I can see already that it's pretty likely that I will lose that island here, but it's not so important for the clip, so that doesn't really matter. Let's blow it out. And then I will darken the other areas, like this area. You see now that when I bring that down, it doesn't look that good, because the details here get lost, but when I bring the next one down, it gets better again, because it's the contrast that's missing otherwise. Okay, that looks good in my opinion. It should be easier to luma key it, and that's what I will do now. At first I will copy the presets from the bottom clip to the top clip, so I will activate the top clips before. So, and I press Command C to copy it, and then I press Shift Command V, so that it shows me the effects here and I can insert them. And yeah, I want to insert them all, so just apply it. Great. So, and now I will deactivate the bottom clips to be able to see the mask a bit better. And I take a luma key, and at first what I want to do, I want to bring the luma roll off to the complete right. And as you can see here, what it does is here in that diagram here, you see that first it's a straight line. When I bring it to the right, it gets to a curve. That's better, because that makes it easier for us to get rid of the sky. That's what I will do now. Oh, I applied the luma key to the wrong clip. Sorry for that, didn't see that. So again, roll off to the right, and zip. And yeah, I will do that a bit slower again. So luma roll off to the right, and then you push that to the right, bottom one. It's completely blacked out. Then you bring the top one to the left again. Now we have this top one here, and I will use that to get rid of my sky. The island is actually still there. Get rid of it a little bit. Let's try if I can rescue that. Okay. And now when you get to tools for the mask, you should be able. Oh yeah, nice. I can get rid of the clouds, as you can see here. There are still some clouds inside. Can get rid of that by pushing it to the right. But I still have most of the details here in the island. That's awesome. And then I will make the mask a bit smaller by using that slider here. As you can see here, I will remove that. And as you can see here, here's the border, a white border around the trees. Can make it a bit more. That doesn't look good, of course. So by making the mask a bit smaller I can get rid of that. So yeah, minus 3.3. It's not perfect, but okay. It's okay if you have a little bit of that white areas, because when we bring the sky into that again, then you won't see that anymore. I would say 3.3 is good. And you can see that better later, but I will apply some of the rust here. I don't know if it's a correct English name also, but I tried it out before, and for that, like 2 works pretty good. I can adjust it later a bit if I need more. And that's it for that part. So as you can see, now I got rid of the sky, and now I introduce that clip here again. And as you can see, the sky is here. Already doesn't look too bad. It's actually quite good already. I'm impressed right now, but it's not perfect. Let's see here, like those areas are a bit too wide. Yeah, because the island looks pretty weird there. And I can do about it, I would say let's just get rid of that. A little bit more. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, now you see that it looks a bit weird, like the sky doesn't really fit to the other clip, and that's because the sky is not graded yet. So let's grade the sky. I will apply film convert, and it's exactly the same in preset here, Mavic Pro, Decine-like, saturation up a bit. It's a little bit down because it was clipping here, and oh, I hate the grain. Let's turn the grain off first. So I don't know why Final Cut does that today. I usually don't have the problem. Need to have a look at that. A bit more saturation for the sky, I would say, because I really like the orange there. Yeah, that's great. Get the highlights again. The highlights a bit down. Now in the sky, I would actually bring the midtones and shadows a bit up to match the clips. And as you can see now, it already looks pretty good. Like the sky matches the other clip already much better. Now I can play in the mask a bit with the rust here. If it's not called rust in English, it's just like under tools for a mask. It's the last slider. So I can play around a bit with that. Probably get to that area of the clip here, because that will mostly be affected. That's way too much. You can see it affects outer areas of the leaves. I mean, it's a nice dreamy look here because it blurs a bit more out, but of course we don't want to do too much of it. It still should look realistic. I would say that looks good, right? It all fits pretty much together in the whole clip. I think my screen is a little bit too dark right now. Actually not. So yeah, I would say the shadows here are a little bit too dark. Not sure why that happened, but I can go to the color curves and I can bring the shadows a little bit down, up. So like that. Not there. I hate that mask clips all the time, but it's okay for now. Okay, now there are a bit more details in the leaves right now. As you can see, probably have a look at film convert also, because I think we can do a bit more with that. Yeah, that's better, so we get a lot of details there. So that's great. We have lots of details here in the leaves, and we have the nice sky here. But of course, it's not the end now. I mean, basically got it done. But now I will, at first, what you can see here, there are those black points here, and that happened because the luma keyer here, like I mentioned before, keys out some of that areas also. So when I activate that now, oh, still got the problem. So let's have another look. Oh, got rid of the mask. I actually had to redo the video because I had some technical issues in between. So let's just set the mask fast here again. And now I can adjust my final grade here. So of course we need to remember that I already graded this with film convert, so the base grade is already done. So what I can do now, for example, is, oh no, that was wrong. I can go to color and apply a LUT. I have my own LUT, so let's try one of these. So I mustn't use a LUT for that. I actually applied it 2 times. For example, what I can also do is I can simply use color finale. It's also how I create my LUTs actually. And I can simply change my colors here. So for example, we have some greens here. So I could adjust the hue of the green, make it a bit more orange. Then I can affect the yellow areas of the image. Make it a bit more red. Yeah, that looks great. Colors a bit down, a bit less maybe. Okay, that's cool. Now I can apply my 3-way color correction here, like making the whole shot a little bit darker, the lift here. A little bit more. Oh, that's nice. And I would say I don't really like the 3-way color correction from color finale. I like that here more from Final Cut. So what I can do is saturation, just pump in a bit more saturation in the highlights. That's great, awesome. Bit more yellow, and not, I don't want to have it too red. That's great. Of course, the other parts of the image look now a bit crazy. Oh no, actually not. I like it. Yeah, it's cool. So there we got it. With the final clip here, and we got lots of details here in the shadows. Of course, they're not anymore. But of course, you can also expose the shot even more. The shot where you expose for the shadows with your drone, because then in that case, for example, I would have even more details in the shadows to work with. But I mean, it looks good. It's good to have it a bit darker here because it gives a nice impression for the image. It just gives it a nice feeling. So that's great. And as you can see now here, we get so much details in the sky, and we still have enough details in the shadows. That's pretty cool. I like that look. It's pretty contrasty.
So that's for the tutorial. I hope you really liked it. And I mean, it's actually quite easy. It's basically a sky replacement, but you have to know the tools on how to do that, how to match both clips, like the sky and the shadows with each other. And of course, you also need to think about that when you're shooting, when you're flying with your drone, because when you don't plan that kind of shot, when you don't plan what you want to do with that in post-production, then of course it won't work. So when you're out with your drone and you have the problem that you can either choose to blow out the sky or get rid of the shadows, then like just make 2 clips of that. One clip just overexpose it as much as you can, the other clip underexpose it so that you get all the details in the highlights, and later use that technique to combine the clips. Of course, it can sometimes be a bit problematic when you have some more bright areas in your picture, like here, like you saw with that island that I needed to get rid of. So if there are some more important areas in the image that have the same brightness values, then you can get problems. So it probably don't work for really every clip, but in a lot of cases cases it can really make your footage better. So I hope you liked that video and I was able to help you to get better footage in the future. If yes, then please hit the subscribe button now for more videos. Like mentioned before, I will publish one tutorial video every Thursday and also travel videos or a bit more in-depth videos where I'm outside and film with my camera every Sunday. So subscribe now to don't miss out the videos. See you in the next one.